We just got back from Uganda and I did enjoy those dance moves. Hope you did. This is your favorite host on Vibes with Pet, bringing to you a special visitor, a special guest, a guy you must have seen around. He's the man on the camera. He is the guy behind Sangin Podcast, and he goes by the name JP, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, JP, I'm so happy to have you on Vibes with Pet. I remember you told me some days ago, Pet, I want to come on to Vibes with Pet. I'm like, okay, it's my pleasure. So how do you feel?
I feel very excited being here, and I think it's a platform where I can talk more about what I'm doing,
Yeah.
so that many can engage with my work and also continue the legacy. So I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, great. So can you tell us why the name Sangin? Maybe tell us what's the meaning.
Nice question. Sanyin
Oh.
basically comes from the name Shenyin, which means voice
Okay.
in Mandarin, Chinese. So I was looking for something that identifies from where I'm currently based, which is China. So the name Shanyin, voice, and also what I'm really doing, which is giving a voice to the diaspora.
Okay.
So that's how it came in Sanyin podcast, voice podcast, literally translating to that.
Okay, voice podcast. Maybe someone will be curious, so I'm also very curious. Voice, what kind of voice? You know, usually when you say you give a voice to the voiceless, it's like you're telling them to do something that they don't know how to do, or you're helping them to do it, or you're empowering them. So, can you tell us more about that, giving a voice?
Okay, nice question. I think when I'm in China here, I realized that people are doing many works.
Okay.
There are those who are doing businesses, there are those who are doing content creation, there are those doing sports and all that. But they have not had probably a digital platform where they can showcase what they're doing, where someone
Wow.
can just log on maybe on the internet and find what they're doing and pick something.
Yeah.
So this was one of the inspirations that made me say that, okay, let me give these people a voice to talk whatever they're doing, regardless. If they're doing something they're passionate about, something which is positively affecting society, or they have a story where someone can pick from, well and fine. So
Okay.
that's the voice aspect of the podcast.
Wow, that was such a great idea. Creating a forum, okay, or creating a space where people could express their creativity. In other words,
Yes.
yes. So the last time I listened to you, you kind of recited a poem, a very long poem, I must admit, about Africa, and my first impression was like, okay, the podcast kind of promotes Africa, or it kind of what do we say, adores or tells us about how beautiful Africa is. Does that part of it has something to do with Sangin podcast activities?
Before I started the podcast, I was a writer, and
Okay.
with my writing, probably I've won some competitions here and there. But my writing was to give the true African narrative, because mostly when you're in the diaspora and you see what is being shown on other news outlets, it's probably negative.
Yeah.
And if Africa is shown positive, it's probably like the last segment of the news.
Yeah.
So that was the focus of my writing.
Wow.
And I feel like the Sanyin podcast also, there's a part of it that's directed to that. That's why we have country editions where we put people from different countries talk about their country. So basically it has that Pan-African aspect, but it's for the whole diaspora in general.
Oh, that's really great. So can you tell me how is it turning out with your maybe social media space, the space that lets most creative writers or creative podcasters like yourself and me?
Yeah.
How does that help them? Has it been helping them? What's the feedback?
The feedback has been great. I think our social media is growing, though not as much as I would want it to grow, but it's growing.
It's going. It's gonna
It's going-
grow.
It's gonna grow.
Yeah.
And we have a WeChat group, a WeChat channel on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. But whenever a guest is on our platform, what I usually see is that after our episode and them showcasing their works, you kind of feel that increased enthusiasm with the part that they talked about. If someone was talking about being an entrepreneur, The next week you find them now vigorously talking about their businesses or working on their businesses. If you have someone who was a leader in their students' organization, the next few weeks you find him enthusiastic about his work.
Okay.
So I feel like my podcast just kind of lights up a fire within someone, especially they are passionate talking about what they're doing. They have that fire to continue pushing with what they are pursuing. So it's kind of enough motivation for what I'm doing.
Okay. I'm just gonna like backtrack, okay,
Yeah.
and just ask you, what's the motivation?
Uh,
What's
the motivation are two. I'll start with the general and then the personal motivation.
okay?
The general motivation, as I said, is that I wanted people, especially the African diaspora, to share their works. I wanted, if someone is wanting to learn about maybe entrepreneurship, maybe writing,
Okay.
there's, or architecture, there's maybe an architect on the show, you can listen in and pick
Exactly.
something.
That's really great.
Yeah, so that was something I wanted to do. The personal thing is that, as I said, I was a writer before, and I really wanted to have a platform where
I'm a writer too.
Okay, that's nice. That's just too. I really wanted a platform where I could talk and share what I'm doing.
Okay.
Some accepted, but some rejected because some wanted me to pay
Okay.
for me to be on that show. So I asked myself, if me I'm sort of like this and I have to pay, all of someone who is also good and then have the money to pay,
Yeah.
why don't you just get something for everyone
That's
for what
true.
they're doing? So
Wow.
that was the personal agenda behind the whole
That's
podcast.
really nice. You know, I mean, they say a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step, and just like you say, you probably not seeing your platform booming like you thought,
Yeah.
but it's just a baby step,
Yeah.
and one step at a time. And one day, the platform is going to land exactly or precisely in the hands of the one who has been looking for it, and it's going to
Yeah.
explode. Okay, so
believe.
don't give up.
I won't give up.
Don't give up, because you should be motivated by your objective, all right? And don't really depend on someone pushing you. Depend on your dream, on your goal, and where you are headed to keep up. Okay, what do you think is the future, or what future do you have for Sangen Podcast?
I think right now our future plan right now is to be part of community events here in Wuhan and China, basically, where there are events that are bringing the diaspora together. We
Yeah.
also play a hand in it. In January, we're among the sponsors of the African Gala here in Wuhan, which gave us an insight of how Africans can come together and celebrate their Africanicity.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that we want to do maybe in the long term. And another thing is that we also want to interview and have conversations with people based in Africa, the movers and shakers in Africa also,
Yeah.
so that we have a two-way, the diaspora and also Africa also. So that is our future plan and what we're working on right now.
Wow, that is great. I think you have a very big dream there. And given, I mean, the age group, I don't want to say how old you are, okay, even though I don't know, given the age group and this kind of dream, it shows a better future, not only for Africa, but a better future for the world. If many more young people like you had such big dreams, ambitions, or goals, whatever you might want to say, okay, then we are sure that the future is very promising and very, very bright. Okay, so I really appreciate what you're doing for the community and for Africa in general. I just hope that someone out there is going to listen, watch you, and then give you a push. We all deserve a push.
Yes, I think sometimes it's hard to, you reach a point when you're doing something and you feel like giving up, but when you see the impact you're doing society, you wake up in the
You're
morning and
motivated.
you keep on pushing yourself.
Yeah.
That's something that keeps me going.
It's really true. Guys, I must remind you, JP, he is from
Uganda.
Uganda. So you see, we are international. Vibes with Pet is international. We welcome everybody. All right. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a say. As long as promoting society, as long as promoting humanity is concerned, you are welcome on Vibes with Pet. Thank you, JP, for finding out time to stop by, to talk with me, to talk with us, and inspire us and make us know that we need to wake up, we need to think, and we need to see how we can promote the society where we live and the world in general.
Thank you so much, Pet, for having me. It has been a great discussion, and I'm really happy You know, when I have meet someone who's not only a fellow writer but also into this work, it makes me happy. So I'm really blessed to be here.
Pleasure is shared. So do you have any last word?
That's why is that people can listen to my podcasts on all digital platforms.
Okay.
And if you have a story, if anything that you're doing that's impactful, just reach out to we'll have it.
Okay. So apart from meeting you on WeChat or maybe WeChat channels, where else can people who are interested in your work find you?
Okay, first you can find us on our email, which is sanyinpodcast@gmail.com. Second, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at the Sanyin Podcast. I think we're active there. So those are, reach us on our socials, Instagram and WeChat and Twitter at Sanyin Podcast. And you can email us at sanyinpodcast@gmail.com.
Okay, guys, I'm going to try my best to drop the links in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys. Don't say I didn't bring people like this inspiring to my platform. You got a real resource right here. You should exploit it. Okay? Thank you so much, and wait for our next video on Vibes with Pet.